Welcome to the KBB Review podcast. I'm Editor-at-Large Rebecca Nottingham, and this is the final episode of our very special Rising Star series, where we've been meeting the upcoming superstars of kitchen and bathroom retail, all under the age of 30. Between August 2024 and now, we've picked a monthly Rising Star to feature in the magazine, online and this very podcast. Those 8 monthly winners are now the shortlist for the overall winner, which will be revealed at the KBB Review Retail and Design Awards 2025, which take place next month in Blackpool. This has all been done with the support of our very good friends at Blum, and you can find out more about them at blum.com, and you can see all our Rising Star finalists at kbbreview.com/Rising Star. So, last but by no means least is our Rising Star for March, Aidan Parish. He's a kitchen fitter at Lima Kitchens in Milton Keynes. His ability to blend technical excellence with business understanding, combined with his natural leadership qualities and financial awareness, are described as what make him a true rising star in our industry. And here is Aidan. Welcome to the KBB Review podcast.
Hi, all right. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So, Aidan, tell me about your journey into the KBB industry. How did you end up as a kitchen installer for Lima Kitchens in Milton Keynes?
So when I first started, I left school at about 16. I did a year of college in carpentry and joinery. And then my college closed down, so I got an apprenticeship at a local kitchen fitting firm where I live in Towcester. And I did my apprenticeship there for 3 years. But unfortunately, business came to a hard time and I got made redundant and I ended up going for a job at Lima. And here I am.
All right, we'll talk about Lima in a second. But when you were at school, how did this idea about being a kitchen fitter come to you? Did you always want to do something more practical?
Yeah, so when I was leaving school, there was kind of the option of sixth form or going to do something from college. I think it was either sports or carpentry was what I was looking at, because I kind of decided that I wasn't really the academic type. I could do it, but I just didn't really want to. I wanted to do something with my hands and start earning some money from a young age.
Yeah, and from an industry perspective, you're our 8th finalist in the Rising Star, and a lot of the guys we've spoken to are designers. Although creative, it's a slightly more academic route, and it's slightly more of a, if you do know that you're coming into the kitchen industry, it's the more obvious route.
Yeah.
Is there enough emphasis on the work that installers do you think?
You know, it does feel like sometimes the designers get a lot of credit for what we do. You know, there's a running joke between the fitters and stuff that it's like, you know, it looks pretty on the pictures, but we're the ones that actually turn it into a reality.
We're facing a lack of installers because of the period of time where academia was the preferred route and everybody was pushed that way through schools. Do you think schools are doing enough, or schools and colleges are doing enough?
I feel like when I was at school, definitely, it was almost a thing where teachers wanted you to go to sixth form because it looked good on their resumes, and they didn't necessarily push kids down the trade skills route. So you see a lack of brickies and plasterers, plumbers, electricians. But I'm happy with the decision that I made. I think it was the better decision to make, because you can earn money straight off the bat when some of your mates are going to uni and they end up in however much money in debt.
Lots of debt, I know. Yeah, absolutely.
And they're answering phones at like a bank or something, not actually doing what they learnt what to do.
Yeah, and I just don't think there's enough recognition for the career progression you can have. You know, everybody recognises university as the way to progress, but of course there are a lot of other skills that university courses or academic courses don't help nurture. And the fact is, this industry is billions of pounds, and yet we don't have enough new installers coming through. So part of it is having that vision yourself at a younger age. You know, you have to, quite young, have to decide what route you're going to go down. Yeah,
I feel like you just kind of, go with what you think is the right thing to do. If you're more of a practical person like I was in school, I preferred doing stuff like DT and PE over science and music and all that kind of stuff. You just kind of got to look at what you prefer to do, and if it means do something, in a trade, then go for it, because it's good. You can earn money and you can progress quite far in your career. You can go from working for a company, being low-level apprentice, to running your own company one day if you wanted to.
Absolutely. All right, well, we'll get on to what the future holds. But tell me about Lima Kitchens, a little bit about the business for our listeners that perhaps don't know.
We're obviously a kitchen company. We design and fit kitchens, and it ranges from all types of projects. Sometimes it can span from one room, just the kitchen, to being pretty much the whole downstairs.
So that's a real great company to work for you, isn't it? Because every project is different and the required skills are different every time, and also the vast knowledge that you can get for the future.
Yeah, like the one I'm working on now, it's like we've taken up all the floor throughout the whole house, and then we're doing all the carpentry work, so all the skirtings, architraves, all new doors. We're doing the kitchen and the utility and the bathroom. We've taken out walls, put new walls in. It's just...
Although we always think of the showroom as the client-facing part of this process, actually, there's a lot of relationships. Relationship building is a key part of your role, isn't it? Because you just mentioned all the other trades that come in. You're obviously in clients' homes. Is that like a learning curve as well?
Luckily with Lima, we have quite a consistent team of people that we use, so we all kind of know each other quite well. We've been working with each other for me, a year, but they've been working together for a lot longer. So we all kind of do things to help each other out. So if there's something that needs to be done that will make their lives easier, I'll do it, and vice versa. And then with the customers, from the point of the showroom onwards to the final product, we're kind of like the face of the company. We're talking to them. If they decide they want to change their mind or do something differently, it's usually down to me and the other fitters to discuss that with the customer and decide what they want to do and how they want to do it. Obviously, price comes into that. If it's something that's going to cost more money, we have to get the office involved. But most of the time, it's something that can be resolved there and then on site, and we can fix it. A lot of the time, if customers have questions about the stuff inside their units, like the drawers or the Le Mans, all like weights of what you can put on the shelves and all this kind of stuff, we kind of have to know all that knowledge to give them the answer there, and or like how to use the fridge, how to use the oven.
So actually you have to know a hell of a lot of stuff, not only the practical side of it, but you have to know the textbook. So you have to know as much as the designers need to know, but you also have to be able to understand the fitting process as well. So again, just reiterating just how important the installer's role is in the entire process. Obviously, it's a small independent company. Do you think that helps as well?
Yeah, I feel like because we're only small and there's not that many different people coming in and out, you kind of develop more of a rapport with the customer and they get to know you quite well over the weeks of you working. And I think it does help with the relationship throughout the whole thing. When if you go somewhere like Wren, they have their fitters or you have your own fitter, and you don't really very disjointed between them and us. But with Lima, I'm only one call away from Matt or Liz if I need to ask a question that they need to answer. And I feel like the customer relationship is definitely better with the smaller companies.
Yeah. Tell me then, what do you love most about fitting kitchens?
I think it's the looking at the final product and looking and thinking, oh yeah, I've done that's I did that. And it can be difficult in the weeks coming up to it, but when you get it finally done, you can look back on it and think, oh yeah, that looks really good. I'm glad that I did it. Yeah,
exactly that. And problem fitting along the way, because you're bound to come up with some challenges along the way.
Yeah, we get it all the time. Pipes that aren't in the places they're supposed to be, or things that need to be moved, walls that aren't in the right place, and all this kind of stuff. And we have to figure out ways to get around it and fix the problems. It has its difficulties, but we always get around it and we always end up with a happy customer. So that's the most important thing.
What's your most memorable project that you've worked on? Can you think of one that really stand out?
There was one that I did about this time last year, actually. They had this cottage, quite an old house, and they had a tree that basically grew through the house and they had to get all of it redone.
Wow.
So they thought we'll get the kitchen done, and it was a really nice kitchen. It was like a shaker, white, with traditional cornice, which is like my preferred favourite design. And then they had the pocket door systems, so they kind of open up and slide away, and they can create like a pantry unit almost. So you've got your coffee machine and all that kind of stuff. Like a big 2-metre island with like an oak breakfast bar that came off the island and had like a down stand. Yeah, it was just one of the kitchens that I looked at after. I was like, yeah, that looks really good.
This rising star category is very important to the future of the industry, really. It's about nurturing talent, identifying young people that could well be the future of this industry. Why do you think for an industry like this it's important to nurture young talent?
Well, because I think, this industry has its difficulties, but the past year says it all. And I feel like, when the industry struggles, it's always the people that are young and coming through that make things happen and finish the projects that need to be finished and stuff. And people put more faith in us to do it and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's new perspectives as well, isn't it? Although you're going to be learning from everybody in the business who's older and more experienced, what I don't think new talent get the credit for is that, you bring new ideas and new perspectives to projects.
Yeah, I feel like there's the old saying that you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but I feel like when the young come through, they're moldable. You can teach them how to do things, but you can teach them other things, and that's where I think the youth comes in, because we normally have a better understanding of the new technological advancements.
Exactly, it's about recognising that everybody brings something different.
Yeah.
And young people, you're 25 now, aren't you? You are hopefully going to be the business owners or the installers of the future carrying this industry on. And we need those new perspectives to ensure the future of this industry, really. I mean, look, obviously you're a huge asset, clearly, to Lima Kitchens and the industry. What does success look like to you? Where do you see yourself in 5, maybe 10 years?
When I started working up, I was kind of like the apprentice, and I had a guy who was like the head kitchen fitter, as it were. And I've moved to Lima, and I'm now in that position. Although we have 2 other fitters, they're subcontracted, so I'm the only employed fitter by Lima. So I'm kind of in the position at Lima, I'm like almost the head kitchen fitter for the business.
Okay. Yeah.
And obviously, I'm in a good position for my age. There is always the dream that I eventually would go self-employed and work for myself, but it's a long way down the line, and I've got to get myself some capital or anything before I do that. Because, you need your van, you need your tools, you need all these things. The work, obviously, which, because that's, in my opinion, where you can make the good money for yourself is being self-employed, but it's a long way before that.
That's the ultimate dream. But to be the head kitchen fitter at an independent kitchen specialist firm at 25 is already a huge achievement. And I wish I could read out Liz's nomination for you, because it says it all, really, all of the things that you've achieved and the personal growth and how you've helped the business grow. So you're quite clearly a huge asset to Lima and the industry, and I look forward to hearing about your career. So it's been great chatting to you, and I think all that's left to say really is congratulations, Aidan, for being our 8th and final Rising Star finalist. Good luck at the KBB Review Retail and Design Awards in April.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to it.